Have you ever stopped to think that, despite earning a decent income, you might still feel stuck in a cycle of financial stress? This isn't about being poor in the traditional sense. It's about a modern phenomenon, what we'll call the new poverty, a state where your income might be enough to sustain you, but your habits, behaviors, and financial decisions are quietly undermining your freedom. In today's fast-paced, consumer-driven world, it's surprisingly easy to fall into this trap without even realizing it. Society encourages us to chase the latest gadgets, live lifestyles that reflect success, and prioritize appearances over substance. But what if these very behaviors are the reason so many people feel financially stuck, even when they should feel comfortable? In this video, we're going to uncover 12 clear signs that you might be part of this new poverty without knowing it. But don't worry, this isn't a doom and gloom session. By recognizing these patterns, you can start making simple yet powerful changes to regain control of your financial life. So, buckle up. By the end of this, you'll not only spot these habits, but also feel inspired to take actionable steps toward a more secure and prosperous future. Let's dive in. To understand the new poverty, we first need to break away from the traditional idea of poverty. In the past, poverty was easy to recognize. It meant lacking basic resources like food, shelter, or clothing. Today, however, things are more complex. The new poverty isn't about lacking money, it's about how you manage, or rather mismanage, the money you have. The rise of consumerism, debt culture, and easy access to credit has shifted the financial landscape. Many people today are caught in the trap of living paycheck to paycheck, even though they might earn decent salaries. How? Because they fall victim to modern financial pitfalls like living beyond their means and confusing wants with needs. Think about the pressures to keep up with the latest trends. Social media bombards us with images of seemingly perfect lives, creating an illusion of success that's deeply tied to materialism. You're encouraged to buy the latest smartphone, wear the trendiest clothes, and take vacations that drain your savings, all in the name of fitting in. Yet, behind the scenes, these actions may be quietly eroding your financial future. What's even more alarming is that many people don't even realize they're living in this new poverty until it's too late. They feel stuck, unable to build wealth or save for long-term goals like buying a house, investing, or retiring comfortably. Why? Because their focus is often on short-term gratification instead of long-term financial health. The new poverty is not just about being broke, it's about being financially unaware. It's about making decisions that look good in the moment, but don't align with your financial goals in the future. As we continue through this video, you'll start to see how these hidden habits are shaping your financial reality. Now that we have a solid understanding of the concept of new poverty, let's take a closer look at the first set of signs that you might be unknowingly contributing to this modern financial trap. These are habits that, on the surface, might seem harmless, but can have a profound impact on your financial well-being. If you identify with any of these behaviors, it might be time for a serious self-check. We live in an era where credit is easy to come by. Credit cards, personal loans, and installment plans are all too accessible, making it tempting to buy things you don't have the cash for right now. This habit of living on installments may seem harmless, but it can lead to a significant financial strain over time. The problem is that this behavior sets a pattern of paying for things with money you don't actually have. When you buy on credit, you're not just purchasing a product, you're adding a debt to your future. That latest pair of shoes, the new TV, or that vacation might feel like a short-term win, but over the months and years, the interest on those purchases can add up, sometimes making those affordable installments much more expensive than you anticipated. Living on installments also reduces your ability to build a solid savings buffer. When your income is tied up in monthly payments, there's less room for future planning, such as saving for emergencies or retirement. One of the hallmarks of modern consumerism is the obsession with upgrading your gadgets every time a new version is released. Whether it's a smartphone, a laptop, or a car, the pressure to always have the latest model is enormous. But while upgrading every year might feel exciting, it's a costly habit that can drain your finances. In reality, most of us don't need the latest version of everything. A functional phone or a reliable car can serve you well for years, yet society often makes us feel inadequate if we don't keep up. The financial strain of constantly chasing the next big thing can lead to unnecessary debt. What's worse is that these purchases tend to lose value quickly, meaning you're not investing in something that appreciates or adds long-term value to your life. Instead of feeding into the cycle of constant upgrades, it's essential to ask yourself whether you truly need the latest tech or if your current devices are still functioning well. Making smarter purchasing decisions can have a significant positive impact on your financial health. In the age of social media, appearances can be deceiving. We often judge our success by the lives we see online, where everyone seems to be living in luxury. There's immense pressure to present yourself as successful, and this often translates into spending money you don't have to maintain a certain image. Whether it's the designer clothes, expensive dinners, or exotic vacations, living for appearances is a dangerous game. It might make you feel good in the moment, but in the long run, it can prevent you from building real wealth. When you prioritize external validation over your own financial stability, you risk becoming a slave to debt, all while watching your savings disappear. The key here is to separate your self-worth from your material possessions. Building financial independence requires a shift in mindset, recognizing that success isn't about the latest trends, but about having control over your finances and making smart choices. Sign 4. Not tracking small expenses. Here's a big one. Ignoring the small expenses that add up over time. It's easy to justify spending a few dollars here and there. After all, it's just a cup of coffee, a snack, or a quick lunch out. But these small, seemingly insignificant purchases can add up quickly. And if you're not tracking them, they can quietly drain your finances. The little expenses often go unnoticed, but they create a big impact when you look at them collectively. For instance, buying a daily coffee at $5 doesn't seem like much, but multiply that by 5 days a week, 4 weeks a month, and 12 months a year. And suddenly you're looking at over $1,200 spent annually on something that doesn't contribute to your long-term financial goals. The solution is simple. Track your daily spending and identify areas where you can cut back. Small changes, such as brewing coffee at home or packing your lunch, can free up money for more important financial goals, like building an emergency fund or investing for the future. These 4 signs, living on installments, constantly upgrading gadgets, living for appearances, and neglecting small expenses, are just the beginning of a series of habits that can lead you down the path of new poverty. But the good news is that they are also among the easiest to change. By recognizing these behaviors, you can begin to shift your financial mindset and make smarter decisions that will pay off in the long run. As we continue to explore the signs of the new poverty, it's time to dive into another critical aspect: financial planning, or rather, the lack of it. Without proper planning, even those who earn a comfortable income can find themselves financially stuck. These next 4 signs are about the behaviors that prevent long-term financial stability and growth. Sign 5. Not having an emergency fund. One of the most telling signs of someone living in the new poverty is the absence of an emergency fund. Life is unpredictable, and unexpected expenses, such as medical bills, car repairs, or job loss, are inevitable. However, if you're relying on credit cards or loans to cover these costs, you're living paycheck to paycheck. Not having an emergency fund means that you are one financial emergency away from falling deep into debt. Without a financial cushion, you're forced to make hasty decisions, often resorting to high-interest debt, which only deepens the problem. Building an emergency fund might seem daunting, but even starting with small, consistent contributions can provide peace of mind and prevent you from being financially vulnerable. Financial experts recommend having at least 3 to 6 months' worth of living expenses saved in an easily accessible account. If you're not there yet, don't worry. Start small, but make it a priority. You'll be glad you did when life throws an unexpected curveball your way. Sign 6. Relying heavily on credit. Using credit as an extension of your income is another clear sign of the new poverty. While credit cards and loans can be helpful tools in times of need, relying on them as a regular source of funding is a dangerous habit. When you use credit cards to finance your lifestyle rather than for emergencies, you're essentially living beyond your means. The problem is that credit doesn't come free. Interest rates can quickly spiral out of control, making what seemed like a manageable purchase become an unmanageable debt burden. Over time, as you continue to rely on credit to cover monthly expenses, you find yourself caught in a cycle of paying off debt with more debt. The solution? Stop using credit cards to fund your lifestyle. If you find yourself with outstanding balances, make paying off debt your priority. Cut back on unnecessary purchases and focus on saving. Getting out of debt will put you on the path to financial freedom and relieve you from the stress of living paycheck to paycheck. Sign 7. Believing that only the wealthy invest. Another sign of the new poverty is the belief that investing is only for the rich. This mindset is one of the most harmful misconceptions people have about money. In reality, investing isn't reserved for the wealthy. It's a strategy that anyone can use to build wealth over time, regardless of income level. The reason many people avoid investing is often a mix of fear, confusion, and lack of knowledge. Many feel that they need a large amount of money to start, or they're intimidated by the idea of stocks, bonds, or mutual funds. But the truth is, with just a small amount of money and the right knowledge, anyone can begin investing and start building wealth. The sooner you start, the better. It doesn't take much to begin investing, and starting early can make a huge difference in your financial future. If you're unsure about where to begin, start with basic retirement accounts, like a 401k or an IRA, or even low-cost index funds that require minimal effort to manage. The key is to start, and the rest will follow. Sign 8. Underestimating the importance of financial education. Financial education is one of the most overlooked aspects of personal finance. Too often, people assume that financial knowledge is only necessary for those in high-paying jobs or those with a lot of money to manage. In reality, understanding basic financial principles is essential for anyone, regardless of their income level. Not prioritizing financial education can lead to poor decisions regarding spending, saving, investing, and managing debt. If you're not actively learning about your finances, it's easy to fall into the traps of impulsive spending, high-interest debt, and missed opportunities for financial growth. The good news is that financial literacy is something you can acquire at any stage of life, and the earlier you start, the better. Start by reading books, watching videos, or listening to podcasts about personal finance. There's no shortage of resources available, and many of them are free. The more informed you become, the better equipped you'll be to make smart financial decisions and break free from the cycle of the new poverty. These 4 signs, lack of an emergency fund, heavy reliance on credit, believing that only the wealthy invest, and underestimating financial education, represent the foundational issues that keep many people trapped in a cycle of financial stress. The good news is that all of these habits are changeable. With a little discipline, consistency, and education, you can take control of your financial future. Now that we've covered the early signs of the new poverty, it's time to focus on the longer-term effects of financial mismanagement. These next 4 signs represent deeper financial pitfalls that can shape your financial future in negative ways, often without you even realizing it until it's too late. Recognizing these patterns is the first step in breaking free and building a more secure, prosperous life. Sign 9. Not planning for retirement. One of the most common mistakes people make is putting off retirement planning. It might seem like a distant concern, especially when you're focused on paying bills and handling immediate financial obligations. But the reality is, if you don't start planning for retirement early, you'll end up relying on Social Security or a pension, which may not be enough to sustain the lifestyle you want. Failing to plan for retirement is essentially choosing to ignore your future financial stability. Without contributing to retirement accounts like a 401k, IRA, or pension plan, you risk working far longer than necessary, or worse, running out of money in your later years. The key is to start saving and investing for retirement as early as possible. Even if you can only contribute a small percentage of your income, it will add up over time and provide you with a cushion in your golden years. If retirement seems far off, think of it this way. The earlier you start, the less you'll need to save later. Compound interest works best when it has the longest amount of time to grow. Don't wait until you're 50 or 60 to think about retirement. Start now and give your future self the financial freedom you deserve. Sign 10. Spending more than you earn. This may sound obvious, but many people still fall into the trap of spending more than they make. This is the classic sign of someone who is stuck in the cycle of new poverty. When your expenses consistently exceed your income, it's impossible to build wealth or save for anything meaningful. The danger here is that spending more than you earn leads to a never-ending cycle of debt. Whether it's credit card debt, loans, or overdraft fees, you're constantly trying to cover expenses with borrowed money, which only makes the problem worse over time. This behavior can cause stress and anxiety and leave you feeling trapped in a financial hole. To break free from this cycle, you need to create a budget that aligns with your income. Cut out unnecessary expenses and focus on living within your means. It might require lifestyle changes, but the peace of mind that comes with financial security is worth it. Once you start living within your means, you'll have more freedom to save, invest, and build wealth. Sign 11. Avoiding conversations about money. Money is a taboo topic for many people. Most of us grow up in environments where discussing finances is considered impolite or uncomfortable. This lack of communication can lead to a lack of understanding about how money works, perpetuating the cycle of financial ignorance. Avoiding discussions about money may seem like a way to avoid awkwardness, but it actually keeps you in the dark. Without open conversations, it's easy to fall into poor financial habits or misunderstand your financial situation. Worse, it prevents you from seeking advice or learning new strategies to improve your financial health. Having open conversations about money with family, friends, or even a financial advisor can help break the stigma and allow you to make better decisions. It's important to educate yourself and discuss your goals, whether it's saving for a house, planning for retirement, or simply improving your day-to-day finances. Being transparent about your finances is a vital step toward financial freedom. Sign 12. Not setting financial goals. Finally, one of the biggest signs of living in the new poverty is not having clear financial goals. Without goals, you have no direction. You may be making money, but if you don't know where you want it to go, you'll end up wasting it. Financial goals help you stay focused, prioritize your spending, and keep you motivated to make smarter choices. Whether it's saving for a down payment on a house, building an emergency fund, paying off debt, or investing for retirement, setting goals gives you something to work toward. These goals don't have to be huge or complicated. The key is to have a clear vision of what you want and create a roadmap to get there. Without goals, it's easy to fall into the trap of living paycheck to paycheck and making financial decisions that don't align with your long-term aspirations. Start by breaking down your financial goals into manageable steps. Set short-term goals, like paying off a credit card, and long-term goals, like saving for retirement, and track your progress. This will not only motivate you, but also give you a sense of accomplishment as you move closer to your financial objectives. These last 4 signs, the failure to plan for retirement, spending more than you earn, avoiding money conversations, and not setting financial goals, are often the silent culprits that prevent long-term financial success. They may not always seem urgent in the moment, but their cumulative impact can keep you stuck in the cycle of new poverty for years. By recognizing these signs and committing to making changes, you can start to break free and build a more secure financial future. It may require effort and discipline, but the transformation is entirely within your reach. Now that you've identified the signs of the new poverty in your own life, it's time to shift your mindset and take actionable steps toward financial freedom. Recognizing these harmful habits is the first step, but the true power lies in your ability to change them. The good news is that breaking free from financial stress and building wealth is entirely possible, no matter where you are in your financial journey.